Yes, good morning, everyone. Gary once again will do the shiva after we've had thought for the day, and coming back still with Mishnah 3 in the third parak. When Rabbi Hanania ben Teradyon says that if two people sit together and they speak words of Torah, the Shekhinah, the divine presence rests among them, it brings that proof text, and that proof text is taken from Malachi, from the prophet Malachi, and the part of the text that he chose was the following words. Then those who revered the Lord spoke with one another, and the Lord hearkened and heard, and a book of remembrance was written before him of those who revered the Lord and who esteemed his name. Actually, if you look at this passage in Malachi, you see a bigger picture. You need to go back to the context and the words which precede it. And they are as follows. You have said, says Malachi to the people of that generation, it is completely in vain to serve God. There's absolutely no profit that we have in keeping his commandments and walking contritely before the Lord of hosts. What possible advantage can there be for us? So now we call the arrogant happy. We see that the arrogant are happy. We see that evildoers indeed prosper. And when they've put God to the test, they manage to escape. So looking around and seeing that there's absolutely no advantage to being an observant Jew. And when you see that people who are not observant, and those even who are not just not observant, but who behave in a bad way, seem to prosper, and everything seems to be great for them, and they live good lives and everything else. So on what basis should we, therefore, continue to be observant Jews? And Malachi turns to this generation and hears them saying this. And in response to it, then he says to them, well, you should know that those who fear the Lord and speak with one another, you should know that the Almighty hears and listens to what you're saying, and that you will be rewarded. So imagine the conditions that the prophet describes. It's an age when people don't see the need for any kind of observance of God or observance of the law. They'd be perfectly happy without it. The wicked are prospering, the irreligious are the most successful people around. What's the benefit of being observant? It's a really good question, isn't it? It's a contemporary question. It seems that Jewish faith only seems to create hardships and hamper you as you try to become more successful. Gets in the way of everything. Can't have a proper holiday because of kashrut. Shabbat always gets in the way, everything. So the prophet says, when those kinds of conditions occur in the society around you, that's exactly the time that when those who fear God have to start to communicate with one another. Let those who are committed gather together, hold the minyan together, create their own little space, work together to be able to strengthen each other and to defy the environment all around us. And the compensation for living in a righteous way is not just for this moment, but ultimately it brings great happiness and good fortune to you and to your family, to your children, to your grandchildren, all the way down the line. Don't abandon the religion. When things are rough out over there and nobody else is observing, that's the time when we make that special effort to come together. There's a really interesting law in the laws of kashrut. If a fowl has been concussed or injured, and you're not quite sure whether it's an injury which is going to render this animal treif. This is a bird fowl, a duck. You put them in a running stream of water, flowing water. And if it allows itself simply to float and to go with the stream, then you know it's treif. But if it struggles and it tries to swim against the stream, that means that it's not treif. It still has life in it. So in a sense, when the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, we received that sort of big chop, so to speak, and generations have flowed with the stream of life, and crazy Jews continue to flow against the stream, to struggle against it. That defines us as kosher. That's what Malachi wants to say. And that's why he brings this particular proof text to say that if two people sit together, and despite what's happening all around, they engage in Torah and they struggle to maintain our tradition, that's when the Shekhinah comes down into the world and is present amongst us. רבי חנני בן הקשמר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא זך ישראל לפיכך, קרבה למתמיצה שנאמר למלך זמן צדקו יד יותר וידי.